I was asked a pretty good question the other day about how to PCS as a non-commissioned officer. Like, say you're sergeant promotable and you're getting ready to PCS. Maybe it's for the first time, and you want to set a good impression on your incoming unit. How can you kind of facilitate this? And so I'm going to share some things with you that I've done in the past in hopes that it helps you, man. If you've got some questions, if you have some comments, some experiences, leave something down in the comments below, and that way we can continue to keep this conversation rolling. I mean, what are we doing? So the first thing I would say, right? So as soon as your 5434 pops up in your act, and that sponsor has filled out part 3, reach out to your sponsor. Be like, hey, man, I know you just got assigned to me as a sponsor. You don't have to wait for them to get in touch with you and say, this is me. I'm kind of stoked about coming out. What do you think about the unit? Blase, blase. And like, hey, maybe that cuts that first conversation short, just a little intro. Second time around, be like, hey, who's your company first sergeant? First and last name. What's he or her like, and how's your command team, and how's your battalion, et cetera, right? And cut that short, and now get into Outlook. 'Cause sometimes that stuff will be in ACT, right? And sometimes it's not filled out all the way in ACT. So if you don't have it, get it. Right? Your first sergeant's information. And look them up in Global. If you've never used Global before in your email, and you open up Outlook or the web app, and you open up the address bar, and you type in last name, comma, first name. Hopefully there's not a ton of them, but you can kind of dig in and sort, and especially if you know what base that we're talking about, it kind of helps narrow down some things. And send that first sergeant an introductory email. Be like, hey, first sergeant, don't call him top. He's not your top. Call him first sergeant. Address him as her as first sergeant, right? Hey, first sergeant, good morning. I am Sergeant Schmuckatelli. Looking forward to PCSing and joining your organization. Looking forward to any opportunity to train, teach, coach, mentor some soldiers and NCOs. I've attached my SRB. I've attached my last NCOER if you have one. And I'm looking for any of these opportunities. And if there's any way to continue to be in front of soldiers as a team chief or a squad leader, that's what I'm really hungry for. But I'm really just looking forward to being a part of the organization and doing what I can to help out. That kind of statement, those kinds of words, I have sent in the past, and I'll share that what my experience was. And I've only heard from a couple NCOs over the course of the last 4 years who've done what I'm telling you to do. And I'm telling you, it sets a hell of an impression to be like, hey, this is me. I'm coming. I'm hungry. I can't wait. I'm chomping at the bit. Right? Huge first impression. For myself in the past, it's kind of garnered or set the stage, if you will, for being selected to be a platoon sergeant when I was a staff sergeant, non-promotable, which ultimately led to me serving as a first sergeant for the first time. And if you look at my NCOER, I started as a staff sergeant non-promotable, and then staff sergeant promotable, and then was selected for sergeant first class. And then coming up to JBLM, secured my spot again as a platoon sergeant, and ensured kind of the stage was set to being a first sergeant. And of course now I got the diamond, but diamonds aren't forever, right? So I know it's kind of a short video, but I'm telling you, man, that kind of introductory statement, those kinds of things to say, hey, this is me, over, goes such a long way. And it drives back down to one of of Stoker's really core base rules and principles that I would give any leader in the military. It's that communication is established from lower to higher. Does that make sense? Like, let's say you're pushing out as a TAC, or even just in a tactical convoy, and before you roll out, like, your CP is not going to radio you to see if you're up on comms. You are going to establish that your communication between your vehicle or your TAC is secured with your higher echelon. You make that initiative. Same is true in personal relationships. It's up to you. Team, I hope you enjoyed a little short conversation about this. Again, if you did, drop some comments down below. Keep this conversation rolling. Appreciate all you guys, man. You stay out there, you keep grinding, you stay stoked.